This week on Rachel Rocks Horror, I rock Halloween.
Welcome to Rachel Rocks Horror, presented by HorrorMoviesHub.com.
The only hub that drips blood.
True story. I'm Carter Lee.
And I'm Rachel Rocks.
Rachel, I'm very excited.
Why is that?
We got to see Halloween together.
Yes, we did, and it was so creepy.
This was your first time watching it from beginning to end?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but never front to back.
And now you like Michael Myers?
I do like Michael Myers. I'm a big fan. Follow me. I'm just kidding. It was totally not what I really expected it to be.
Totally. Michael Myers is my favorite horror bad. The whole thing's my favorite in horror movies, right? Franchise, favorite horror movie, favorite horror villain. He still kind of haunts me to this day. He'll still pop in my head like when I'm opening the closet.
Me too. So when I first watched this the other day, every time I would go anywhere, I'd see it and I'd be like, ah! And then it got to the point where I'd start taking pictures of things that would startle me, like a fire hydrant with a towel on it.
Right.
So it's always in my head. It's front and center, super fresh. So every time I open a door, I'm like, ugh.
You never know when his face will just start.
Right. So if I'm looking in the mirror and it's, kind of dark behind me, I'm like, oh my God, this just totally reminds me of that. And it's just cigarette burned in my head.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this was John Carpenter's third film.
Okay, yeah.
It was his third feature-length film.
Okay.
It was his first horror film.
He did well.
And he nailed it. For $300,000 they made this.
Nice.
They put a lot of that into the production value.
Okay.
So, they could make the $300,000 make it look like a $1 million movie.
It worked.
It was amazing. And they ended up going on to gross in 1978, mind you, $47 million. Oh,
wow.
Right, $47 million.
That is amazing. Off of a $300,000 budget?
Right.
Nice.
In 1978.
Right? Oh, gosh.
And it bombed at first in the theaters, if you can imagine. So back then...
Did it really?
It did. Well, it wasn't popular at first because several critics bashed it. And see, back then it would kind of tour, right? They'd cover one region in the U.S. with a horror movie, and they would just kind of go around. And it wasn't catching on. It was. Like movies,
the word wasn't spreading, is that what you mean?
A couple critics bashed it, so it wasn't that popular to go see. But then a critic from the Village Voice, I want to say, saw it and praised it and pointed out all the great things about it. And Mustafa Akkad, he was the investor, and he wanted to invest in horror movies. He wanted to invest in independent films.
Right, okay.
He never wanted to invest in horror movies until he saw what the name of the script was, which at the time was called The Babysitter Murders. And then he thought,
sounds kind of hot.
It depends on how the
anything with the word babysitter in it, in my mind, is kind of hot.
Sure. That's half my search history.
My favorite part of the movie was definitely the theme song.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
I liked it so much, I downloaded it to my phone and I jammed it.
Is it your ringtone yet?
No, I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Oh, I can help you.
Okay, cool. We'll do that
after.
after.
That's a good cause, for sure. John Carpenter wrote that song in 3 days.
You told me that. That's amazing.
Yeah. The whole soundtrack, but that song is just iconic.
I love how John Carpenter, he had so much influence in this movie, like all of the influence. He did everything.
And he wanted to make sure, his girlfriend at the time, Deborah Hill, co-wrote this with him, and this was the first time she produced anything.
Couple goals.
Right. And talk about success, right? Jamie Lee Curtis was cast and first put on the radar because of course she was Janet Leigh's daughter.
The daughter, yes, excuse me.
From the Psycho Star, so you have the new Scream Queen. And so John Carpenter felt Psycho was the first modern day horror movie.
Okay.
And he paid some homages to that because of that. Sam Loomis, the psychiatrist, Michael Myers' doctor, that somehow is presented like a detective.
Right.
But his name, there's a Sam Loomis in Psycho. That was the boyfriend of, Janet Leigh's character.
And the opening scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes,
now it just really clicked what you were telling me last time about this. So yes, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Right. And And there's like other, I mean, obviously, Janet Leigh's daughter being cast, another homage to Psycho.
Yep.
And so the movie that made John Carpenter realize he wanted to make movies was a 50 movies called It Came from Outer Space in 3D.
Didn't they show that in that movie?
No, they showed The Thing.
The Thing, okay.
Which he would end up, making.
I knew it was kind of like from the same era. Those movies are from the same era, right?
He loves the old school monster movies, which is why he redid The Thing.
Okay.
But then he saw Psycho, and that's, that really spoke to him as far as directing. And he recognized that Psycho took horror out of the goth stage. Everything was very gothic, and it took it into realism. And John Carpenter wanted to make this the next step in horror of taking it from realism to modern myth.
Okay.
So he created the Boogeyman.
Ugh. That mask is pretty unrecognizable.
Did you know that mask was Captain Kirk?
I guess it's kind of recognizable now that you say that.
So
wow,
they bought a few masks. They got they actually got a Spock mask, because that was huge at the time, late 70s, Star Trek. They got a Captain Kirk mask. They got the Periwinkle clown mask.
Ooh.
And they said he looked very creepy in that.
Yes.
But they didn't want John Carpenter did not want Michael Myers relatable. That's why he wanted something very blank as far as his face. He didn't want a backstory of how he became evil. He wanted him to be a monster just in human form. They were going to go with the Periwinkle mask until they saw what they did with the Kirk mask, which they hollowed out the eyes, took out the 70s sideburns, screwed up the hair, I think dyed it a different color, and then spray painted the face white. Mm-hmm. And it's very chilling. It's still creepy.
Yes, it's very creepy.
Yeah.
I was trying to hold it in for as long as I could. I don't know if you could tell. I was kind of like...
I didn't know if you were going to fart shit or throw up on me. So look at that. The most gentler of all those. This movie inadvertently created the rules of slashers moving forward. That certainly influenced 80s slashers and even 90s slashers and still today. And one of those rules is, the promiscuous ones die first. The final girl's the virgin-like thing.
Damn, I know.
And and the jock goes first. We were totally dead in horror movies. Like, you would probably die before me, for sure.
Me?
Yeah, because
what are you trying to say?
The hot chick
Hold
dies
on, what
first.
are you trying to say? I was kidding.
Hot chick dies first. And, or you'd be the final girl, but
I mean, that's how I would see myself for sure.
new final girl. You wouldn't have been in 1978, though. And but so John Carpenter knew that as like a message to anything about promiscuity.
Yeah, don't be a whore.
He actually said, "I'm the last one to ever even try to send a message like that." He was a really fun guy. Like, his whole thing
you will be punished for your premarital sex sins.
Well, and that's what future horror movies did, right? Like the Virgin survived.
Shame on us.
Right.
Wait, nothing.
Yeah. Another slasher rule this movie created, besides the group, you get a stereotypical teenage girls in it, right? You got the smart ass one, the first one to die. You got the more promiscuous one, and then you have the book nerd one, and who ends up becoming the final girl 99.9%
because she has the most common sense.
Exactly. And then you have the dumb jock guys, or the what are they called? Yes bros, or the bromans, or what are they called?
A bro dude.
A bro dude. Thank you. You have them. But another rule that it created was the oblivious adults versus the over-aware kids. Like, the children are aware, little Tommy Doyle.
Where were all the damn adults anyways? Well, that's why they were babysitters.
Sure,
they
and
were
then
on
half the
dates.
adults, like even Laurie Strode doesn't, necessarily believe Tommy when he's talking about the boogeyman.
Which is weird because she saw him too.
She did, but, she's trying to kind of... It's easier to say, oh, that's just a creepy man or whatever. She doesn't know what's actually coming her way.
I wish I had you all alone.
15 years later, it makes you wonder how old the boy was when he first did that.
I think he wasn't he like 5 or 6?
So he was...
Actually, there's an answer to this.
Okay.
I'm going to find.
Michael?
He was 6.
Okay,
So then
he's
he was 21.
Oh, that makes sense.
Dude, we could party
That's so
with
much
them.
an easier number to remember now.
For someone who can buy beer legally, he sure is celebrating in a strange way. I mean,
What a maroon.
right, it's Halloween. There's hot women everywhere, dressed half naked, and this guy is killing them. He's 21. Should be doing shots off their belly buttons.
Lines of cocaine off their dicks.
Right. Oh, wow. And that would be a different franchise. I want to say it's the 3rd on-screen kill.
Oh, Bob. When Bob got when he
Good
got,
call, yes.
that was kind of cool. So he came out of the shadows and he kind of picked him up by the throat, and he's like showing his brute strength. Like, he must have worked out in the hospital. Okay, so he lifts him up, and he's barefoot, so you can obviously see that, you know, his feet are not on the floor.
Right.
Even if he had shoes on, you'd be able to tell that too. But he's holding him up, and then he goes. And he must get them hard because they don't make any noise. Dangles. He kind of just like stabs him into the wall, which was kind of cool.
I thought, very cool scene.
Like, realistic.
And scary, like you're not sure where he's going to pop
Like,
out
can
of.
knives really hold you up like that? It makes you wonder, like, oh my God, could that happen to me? And could I be like a piece of art on the wall? And then all of a sudden, okay, so he's definitely like,
Ooh, a piece of art on the wall.
he looked like a piece of art to him. That's what it looked like, you know, from
And he
my
was
eyes.
kind of-
he was admiring his artwork.
And trying to figure it out.
He's like, what? Look at my artwork. Damn, Bob. I like Bob.
Yeah, but, well, he was lazy. He didn't appreciate his hot girlfriend.
You're right. Fuck Bob.
Fuck Bob.
Please welcome to the show the Suck My Balls Bob dancers.
So round 1, I've always thought of this as rounds. Like it's
Okay.
the main event. It's Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers.
Right.
Round 1 really begins, you're the first time I think you got scared, which is
When Bob fell from the door frame. Oh, God. I jumped. I was like, ah! Then she backed in the corner, and you're like, okay, you kind of relax for a little bit, and then you see Michael Myers' mask move in slowly, and you're like, oh my fucking God, what is gonna happen now? So anyways, she didn't see him at first, so he takes like a swing and
Right.
gets her kind of on the arm. Okay, and she's like, oh fuck, and falls over the back of the stairs, right? Scariest shit I've ever seen right there. Oh my God. She's a bad mamma jamma. I'd be able to get up and run away.
She got up, 17 years old. She's ready for survival. So she runs across the street. She's dropped her keys.
God dang, the droppage of the keys. Let me
Right.
tell you, that is the worst time to drop some keys.
Right. Well.
So
yes.
luckily, Tommy and the other, person that she was babysitting were upstairs. She had to wake him up first, though. But
Well, Tommy woke up.
well, I mean, wasn't the little girl there too?
Well, no, she ended up being woken up because, but no, she was useless as tits on a nun. So to me, round 1 always ended when she's safely inside the house, but round 2 starts fairly quickly because, she yells at Tommy to go upstairs.
Do as I say.
Right. And then
Do as I say.
Do as I say! Boogeyman, hurry!
so round 2, she notices she's in the living room by the couch and she sees the windows open, and we all know.
Where is he coming from next? Oh my God. I don't know where he's coming from, but she is ready for him. Like, she's got some big balls on her. She's got that crochet needle. As soon as he pops up, she's like, bam, stabs him in the neck. Boom, drops like a freaking rock.
Yeah, he swings and misses. He stabs the couch. She hits her mark.
Yep.
And you're right, he fell like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, done.
Right.
Dead. Whew. A crochet needle to the neck. Got him. Got his ass.
Round 3 is when Tommy informs Laurie what we all know, which is you cannot kill the boogeyman.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
They split off into the rooms.
They're like, bye, and she's like, bye, and she goes in the closet and locks herself in the closet that has really thin blinds.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's not stopping anybody, just saying. Okay, so I picture myself being in a closet and there's a man in there and he's trying to get through the blinds and you're like, what the fuck do I do? But she's got a lot of balls. Laurie Strode has big hairy balls.
Gee, wow. Well, it was the 70s. No one should.
Well, and you know, if I was like stuck in a closet and there was a man trying to stab me to death, I don't know how well I would be able to process like, oh hell no, he looks so scary. Grabs a hanger, straightens it out, and she's got herself a weapon again. Boom. Stabs him in the eye, drops the knife.
Right. And then one in the bread basket.
Oh, he's going nowhere this time. He is dead. I mean, I'd stab him one more time, right in the neck. Right in the heart, right in the butthole. I don't know, somewhere where to make sure he didn't flinch, you know?
Round 4. The final round, championship round in this case.
Right. Ready, fight.
So, she's just there in a daze. We see Michael Myers in the back.
Oh God, he sits up. Hell no, I'd be out the house. Oh my God.
She lifts up the mask. What'd you think of Michael's face? Besides, I mean, obviously,
he was quite handsome on one side. Kind of Michael Jackson-ish. Loomis comes in and he takes no time. He just starts firing away. Something tells me he's gonna get up again.
Michael shot 6 times. He falls out the window. He hits the ground.
Gotta be dead by then, right?
Right, but then he's gone.
He's gone. Great.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
You cannot kill the boogeyman. The boogeyman. Definitely the boogeyman. Yeah. He's like, I'm out.
How much did you love the movie the moment you saw that Michael was gone?
I loved it because it kept me wanting more. Wanting to know where he is and, you know.
You want to see like a round 2 or yet another round, another squabble, another fight of Laurie and Michael?
Oh yes. We've got to see how much smarter she gets with each
sequel. That's a word. Obviously, by the time you saw this in 2020, you are aware that a lot of these horror baddies, these horror villains don't die.
Right.
But this was the first time that they actually, like, monsters would get killed at the end of horror movies up until Halloween. If there was a human killer, like let's say a Norman Bates, they would be captured or killed, or they might get away, but they weren't invincible, is my point.
Yeah, the viewer gets closure.
Right, one way or another, even if they're still out there, but you don't shoot them 6 times and they get up. You don't stab them in the neck, stab them in the stomach, poke their eye out, and they're fine. This was the first time, so what we kind of look at, I think, you know, as a stigma now, again, one of the new, like he's inadvertently wrote that rule because then all the other horror baddies after him were indestructible.
Why won't you die?
So we have questions and comments from viewers.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
What's our first question?
Our first question is from Big Tit Lover.
Oh.
How you doing?
Your boobs are huge. I mean, I want to squeeze them.
Big Tit Lover says, my all-time favorite horror movie, an undeniable classic. Looking forward to hearing your take. Would you like to know my take about Halloween, Tit Lover?
Yeah, what's your take on Halloween?
I want to share. I loved it. It was iconic, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do, which freaked me out. It left me wondering what's really going on and if it's going to happen again. Jeff Allen says, they just don't make movies like that anymore. The music sets the tone so well, a classic. I totally agree with you, Jeff. It's definitely a classic. It definitely sets the tone. It gives you the right amount of anxiety, but it's also catchy and you kind of want to jam to it.
Yeah.
So you're like...
So it's a weird thing of terror and my hips got something to say.
Yeah, I'm like, woo!
I know you feeling this.
Rachel Roxxx Superfan says, hey guys, first off, I've really been enjoying the series so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel Roxxx Superfan.
Yeah. He says, Rachel really does rock horror. Thank you. My question is, what part of the movie shocked and creeped you out the most, and what are your thoughts on why they made so many sequels?
Good question, Superfan.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, good question, Joe.
So, Joe, the part that creeped me out the most was definitely the music.
Sure, I can see that.
It just made it so much more scary.
Well, on why they made so many sequels is because Michael Myers was a cash cow.
He never died.
He never. Well, I mean, people flocked to the theaters to see him after this movie
because they wanted to know if he was going to die in this.
Right, and then when in the third one, when they eliminated him from the movie, which is actually a decent movie, it gets a bad rep because everyone wanted Michael Myers. I only recently started enjoying Halloween 3 because I'm such a stupid horror nerd when it comes to Halloween. I also rejected it, but Season of the Witch is the name of that one. But
doesn't even sound like it makes sense.
No, it's a totally different story. They wanted to start making an anthology, and then fans boycotted, and it was hell no. And then so episode 4, Return of Michael Myers. Episode 5, wasn't that The Revenge of Michael Myers? I think episode 6 was The Curse of Michael Myers. And then there was, I don't know, there's like a resurrection at some point, and then there's H2O, and then there's a new Halloween, and then the reboots. There's like somewhere between 11 and 13 if we're including the 2 new ones coming out. So on why they made so many sequels, because it makes them a lot of money.
Okay.
On if I like all of the sequels, I do not, but I do like all the sequels because even the bad ones tend to be so bad they're good in my opinion, and the good ones are good.
Right.
And I enjoy any. I might not like it in the first viewing, but then I know how to kind of adjust and adjust my thing. Yeah. And we should revisit. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's reboots as much. I had the second half of his reboot of Halloween. I thought the climactic scenes were very effective. Of course, Daniel Harris is awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, tell me, tweet us back here, Joe, and tell me what your favorite sequel is to Halloween. My favorite sequel is Halloween 4.
I haven't seen any of
Michael Myers.
I haven't seen any of the sequels yet, so I can't answer that one yet.
Oh, you will. Okay. You will.
Good. Rick Rhodes says,
hey, Rick.
Hey.
Hey.
What do you think is the scariest scene? Like I said earlier, it's definitely when Bob falls from the ceiling.
Yeah. No, that definitely scared. That whole sequence is just so brilliantly done. The 3 dead bodies in a row, and then his face emerging.
Super creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. And I would say since we've covered that a lot, just to throw in another scene, my second favorite scene is actually when he sits up in the background the Undertaker doesn't like him, but Undertaker style and looks.
Mike Napier says,
Mike,
hey,
shout out to Box Office Pulp, co-host of Box Office Pulp. Great podcast, great guys. Everyone over there, Cody, Jamie, Mike, y'all are awesome. We love you. And Mike, of course, also a contributor to HorrorMoviesHub.com, which is what?
The hub that drips blood.
The only hub
that drips blood.
That's right.
Mike Napier, love you. His question is, per a throwaway line from Loomis, someone gave Michael driving lessons. I was wondering about that too. How did he learn how to drive? Does this mean at some point in the past, an inspirational Cider House Rules type story took place between Michael and a caring teacher? That is funny. Yeah, I totally was wondering about.
Well, he spent 15 years in silence. Maybe someone came in and kind of...
Maybe he read a book and learned how.
Hello there, Michael. Welcome to your first driving lesson.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to our profile, click the bell so you can get all our updates. And on Twitter, if you have any questions or comments, make sure that you use hashtag RRHorror, which is hashtag RRHorror.
Thank you all. We love you.
Look down here for links to all of our profiles right here.